O tēnā koutou katoa whānau. Welcome back to the Drive Time Show. With the arrival of festivals and summer gigs, it's no doubt we are excited to see that the Spiegel Fest is back in Ngāmotu. You really can't miss the Spiegel tent, of course, if you have been driving through Ngāmotu, especially by Puke Ariki. It's right there, and it's definitely a festival that you don't want to miss. Today, I'm lucky enough to be joined by Rutene Spooner. Kia ora, Rutene. Welcome to the show.
Kia ora. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. You're welcome. How's it all going anyway?
Yeah, good. Our kind of involvement in the Spiegel Fest is kind of the tail end of our tour. So we're finishing out our year with Throughly Modern Māui in Taranaki this year.
Oh, that's so cool. I'm so stoked that we get to be the lucky last on your tour. How cool is that?
Yeah, and everyone's gunning for it, like the band and the crew are like really, really looking forward to. And the cool thing is normally on the tail end of the tour, you might get some tired performers, and some tired crew, but we've had a couple of weeks off.
Okay.
So it is the end of our tour for this particular mahi, but we're all coming back refreshed and ready to roll.
Woohoo! Oh, that sounds very exciting for us here in Taranaki. And when I think of Thoroughly Modern Māui, I'm suddenly getting like flashbacks of the puka puka that we read in primary school about Maui. What was your reason behind creating a show around Maui?
That's a good question. I think for me, I wanted to make something. I mean, I should probably like disclaimer. It's the Maui, definitely inspired by all the histories and stories that we've been told, growing up. But it is very, it's a Maui recontextualized in a cabaret format, And so, as I've said before, it's a my Maui, and we lay claim to him on the East Coast. But it's a recontextualized version. So my Maui might have a bit more rhinestones and sequins, and a little bit more showmanship. But it is very much inspired by the Maui. I hail from the East Coast. My father's from the East Coast, but my mother's from Taranaki. She's Ngāruahine.
Yes.
We're Ngāruahine.
Yeah.
So,
awesome.
But on the East Coast, we lay strong claim to Maui, being that his waka nukutai memeha is at the top of our mountain. So, it is very much the kind of Maui that I grew up knowing and told. And while we kind of enjoy the stories in those picture books, the cool thing that I liked about growing up and listening and hearing about Maui and Maui being very much an exemplar for us on the East Coast. He was more than just this kind of warrior. He was inquisitive. He was flamboyant. He was all these kind of really complex and colorful character, and that's the kind of person I wanted to bring into the cabaret realm. And I wanted to make something that, essentially beyond the sparkle and the shine, the show talks. I wanted to make a show that empowered Māori first and foremost, to empower Māori men. And who do we see as the exemplar, who's tougher than who do we see as exemplar in Māori dominance? And it's Maui. It's the legend of Maui. So that's why I wanted to bring him into it. Is use his stories and his tales and the lessons learned in all of those, and recontextualizing them and using them into the kind of modern challenges that we face as Māori.
Absolutely. And I love how you described Maui in your show as being flamboyant, and there's a bit of comedy in your show as well, and some waiata, of course. But what is like the main message behind your show?
Ooh, there's a few messages in the show, and you're right, and it's like there's Maui's a hautatu, and so there's a quality. That's the quality that I really enjoy about him, and so that kind of lends it to the cabaret. But it's essentially what I've found in our tour this year is like this show is a conversation. It's a conversation meeting point for us as a country. As in my opinion, as our country levels out in terms of tangata tiriti, as we as non-Maori learn to appreciate and understand Maori and the Maori thoughts and the Maori view. It's a for me it's a hope. The story is a hope that we come together and start the conversation. So it's like a celebration for Maori to be like, yeah, I face those challenges, yeah, cool. But then it's also a place for non-Maori to be like, okay, it's
Okay.
palatable conversations, because we tackle things like racial
Right.
racial profiling. Those are some of the kaupapa, te tika te whakahua i ngā kupu i ngā ingoa Māori. So it's like those pronouncing names properly, those sorts of things, those 101 things, but it's done in humour, and it's
Mm.
a and that's what we as Māori, that's what we do, right?
Yeah.
And so there's a level of tapu and noa to the show, I think, where it's like it's
Okay.
got some serious issues, And
Yes.
my grandmother always said, you waka manuhiri in, and that's what we're doing in the Kōrero. We waka manuhiri in, you can serve them and manaki them, but you can also have serious conversations, and that's what the show is doing. It's having conversations around race relations, essentially, and that's it. Without giving too much of the show, I'm a warrior giving the show away, actually,
No.
but
Yes.
it's that dressed in music and comedy and humor, and it's for me, it's hopefully it's a meeting point for both Maori and non-Maori.
Awesome. And, talking about humor and comedy, and like you say, us Māori, we relate to, humor and comedy. I mean, you just have to listen to our station when our boss gets started with his laugh. It's like a domino effect, and then it's just like this uproar of laughter. It's just hilarious. Um, who is your inspiration when it comes to comedy?
Oh, that's a good question. Who's my inspiration when it comes to comedy? I think some of the greatest comedians, Maori comedians, I find in like the back in the kitchen. Like
Yeah.
we are storytellers, and like you say, you reference your person. It's like we're storytellers. It's just how we are, and so I'm inspired by many people from back home. Many of the people who run our kitchens, who run our pa, many people who sit in our pie. They know how to write a joke. They
Mm.
know how to. It's just that there are some of us who have made a living out of that, and
Yeah.
who have transformed those ideas and put them into a performative context. And when I say that I talk about them actually, and that's like the likes of Prince Tuitika, Billy
Mm.
T. James, Ricky May, Dalvanius, all of those Maori showmen. And also the show woman as well, in the Volcanics and all those sorts of things. All of
Right.
those people who essentially, there are millions of those people in Te Ao Māori. It's just some of us have made a living out of it, and so those are the people that inspire me. But
Oh,
also those, yeah, and I essentially stand on this legacy. Well, not stand on, but stand on the shoulders of these great show people, show entertainers, Maori entertainers, and you definitely feel that flavor in our show. It's a nod. They're definitely. I mean, we all speak from a similar point of view in life, so you're gonna feel that those flavors from those entertainers, those famous Maori entertainers in our show. Yeah.
yay. It sounds very exciting. And of course, your show is this Friday here in Taranaki, here in Ngāmotu. What is something you say you obviously wakapapa to Taranaki, of course, Ngāruhini, yes.
Yeah.
What do you love about Taranaki?
Look, because my dad's from the coast. I was brought up on the coast, so any chance to come home to Taranaki is really is I jump to, and I have really enjoyed. I brought some hard work back to the festival, to Taranaki Arts Festival in the past, but I really
Mm.
love coming home I think I really love coming home and serving people, in the communities that I come from, like
Yes.
and so I love coming home. I love, I talk about in the show, I descend from the lofty mountain on the east coast, but lovely. I'm so looking forward to coming back to the lofty mountain on the west coast that I whakapapa to, and I, I'm particularly excited about. Yes, we've got our show in the Spiegel tent, which was an awesome venue, and it's such a vibe, and it's a very much again, essentially, it's a kauta, right? Whether it's a pretty kauta, but also we're doing a show in Upunake, and that's what I'm looking forward to. It's
Yes.
like getting out
Yes.
into the corners of our communities and getting in the end and having a good time.
Oh, sounds amazing. And Opanake, another fabulous town. So you're definitely in for a treat being out there and performing to the community out there. Enjoy your time here in Taranaki. Enjoy your time back home. I actually recall last time you were here, my nan was went to your show, and she's got a photo of you and her together, and she's just very proud of it. So
Oh, Nate, I hope I see you at this one.
yes, wow, we might have to arrange something for Nan to
I know.
head along.
Tell her
But
come.
hey, it's been
Tell her
it's
come.
been
And
so
that's what I loved about that's what I loved about doing it up here, is that this is the kind of whakaari, because we there's the nod to the old style of cabaret, but then there's a push with kaupapa that is in the modern day, and we've had a lot of people come to the show who've been able to enjoy it with their kaumātua. I had a lady here
that's cool.
from Orake who said, I've never been to a show with my nanny, and we both enjoyed it. So,
Oh,
like, tēnā, haere mai, tauti mai.
oh, so beautiful. Hey, you can see Rutene live at the Spiegel Fest this coming Friday. We're actually giving away tickets. So listen out on how you can get those very, very soon. Thank you so much, Rutene, for joining me today. All the very best, and enjoy your time here back home in Taranaki. Ngā mihi.
Ngā mihi tēnā koe.